Just on nights like these, when nights are cold, I need a love, I need a love right now. Just on nights like these, when nights are cold, I need a love, I need a love right now. Just on nights like these, when nights are cold, I need a love, I need a love right now.
So, hello, everybody, and welcome back to some beautiful WARNO action. As we are back here for some beautiful 1v1 quarterfinals. As we have two of our favorite players here, don't we? With
Yes.
two of their one-trick pony divisions here, kinda. At least for PastaLavista on the right, bringing us the classic Berlin Command favor. But still, we have seen them a lot on 24th as well. And that's a division that you are pretty knowledgeable on, Mr. Chloride, aren't
Yeah,
isn't it?
it is. It is like I just like it so much. I like it for the same reason I like MNAD, which is that it has infinite defensive potential. And if as long as you just figure out the unit combinations you need to do to attack, you're basically always going to be on the up and up when you want a turtle.
Yeah, both divisions, no forward deployment. Both divisions limited in what they can bring up to the front line at the beginning. So a kind of fair matchup there as well. Though you have a bit more in the recon department on the side of the Berlin Command, so it might actually have a speed advantage in this one, with Foxes and the cheaper PSS coming up now.
Yeah, and we're seeing Snowwolfi invests like very heavily into recon, which is pretty standard here. You're playing against a light infantry aggro division, and you don't want the foxes. You don't want the potential of. Uh, do they get any of the French fast vehicles? I don't remember right now. Any of the ERCs maybe.
No,
They don't
the
want the. Oh yeah.
only
So
AMX
they don't.
30s.
Okay, yeah. So they don't want the foxes to go through, and they want to prepare for the long haul. 24th is the long haul division. It can bring out a lot of Bradleys quickly because they have the National Guards Bradleys and the discount infantry with them. But those things don't perform anywhere near as well as the standard ones. So just like with all National Guards units, you're all going to be using them either masked up with supporting buff units, or you're going to be using them on defense. And but of course, you do get the standard Bradleys with regular army forces if you want to do some assault troops. M1 IP, I like it. I have come to accept that yes, it might be a little bit overpriced now that all the other tanks have been gotten cheaper in its category, but still excellent and matches the heaviest tank of the night of Berlin, which is also the M1 IP. Now we're seeing the three Harriers going against a single Phantom. Phantom getting a free Sparrow shot out there, but Harriers immediately following up slower planes with no long range missiles. But the AIM-9L is pretty decent accuracy.
Yeah, and you get one more of those now per card. Both of these divisions profiting a lot from latest buffs. There are the PSSEBs that got cheaper, there are the Harriers that got more numerous for Berlin, and then obviously the Reservist change helped out the National Guard section of 24th a lot. Still, both of these divisions not really seen as top play, but yesterday the claims clocked in with the Berlin Command for PastaLavista were 499. So Pasta really, there might not be another player in the universe that has more games, most likely, with Berlin Command than PastaLavista. And they know how to make it work with Nighthawks, without Nighthawks. And it's going to be interesting to see if they can make it work here against Snowwolfi.
Yeah, so the Posse B are now trying to get into the zone. There is a French commando mortar supporting fast transported mortar that is out here basically only to allow for these infantry engagements to keep going and to protect these foxes from any long range ATGMs currently. There is the Bradley, and the Bradley is moving slightly in position in southwest for Snowwolfi, but it is really going to be the IP Abrams that matters here. The one Posse B got taken out by the sniper fire. The American snipers have amazing damage with their two sniper rifles, and but the other Spec Ops squad is currently in the forest, in the smoke, unspotted, and does have 384s left. So if they get just a single side shot here, I think this fight can be quickly beaten by PastaLavista.
Yeah, gets one out, but it's only a frontal shot, and it's not even a hit. Second one gets a hit and gets a stun, but the MX-30B have a problem. They are not having penetrator rounds, they have heat rounds. So they don't work with the physical penetration power of the round, and that means they don't stack with range in their penetration power. That means they only stay at 15 pen, and that means they only deal 1 frontal damage against the M1AP no matter the range, and that means frontally, they can't really kill it here. Like, they would need another 7 hits here, whilst the M1IP can 2-shot those, and that means the MX-30B here really not the perfect vehicle for these engagements. It's pretty decent at dealing with Bradleys on the mid-ranges, and it's a great fire support unit to kill off enemy infantry, as it has the fantastic 20 mil next to the gun that can shoot down the snipers, for example, if it could spot them, but it's absolutely terrible against the M1IP, and that's a big issue here for Pasta in the south. In the north, meanwhile, Snowwolfi gets the advantage with M113 ACAFs and Bradleys pushing forward with some fire teams, and this is a problem for PastaLavista as well, having to fall back. Brings an AMX-30B and a Lynx Hellfire. Hellarm coming forward here. Bradley smoking off. Ooh, and there comes the Nighthawk. Okay, what can the Nighthawk do? Ah, there's a Strike Eagle at the same time. That's an unfortunate coincidence here, as the Strike Eagle can kill the Nighthawk can't kill the Strike Eagle, so it has to get the hell out of here, and it's trying to do that right now.
The Strike Eagle has not gotten a special command here. Nope, it targeted the Rover CP here. I mean, that's a nice kill there. Even if you don't get the most valuable one, you're still winning points with that kill. Up north, we've seen most of the time the heavier player completely just leaves the upper side of the map for the player with the better infantry opener. But right now we saw this very like archetypical 24th infantry attack with the military police and the fire teams and the Bradleys just kind of hanging around. It's kind of like being in a real military unit. Most of the guys are just always like hanging around and leaning on something, smoking cigarettes. And every once in a while, the Bradleys will engage and move, as they are doing right now, whenever the fire teams get scared, really. And this is the fire teams being just strong enough to engage the enemy, and the Bradleys being the main killing power. It's very reliable. If you know how to play that game, you can get so many points out there. And I think it kind of just even with these very heavy investments, the fact that Snowwolfi still hasn't been completely driven out of the zone, I think kind of makes me think here that Pasta actually needs to pull a rabbit out of his hat here, maybe.
Yeah, he's still keeping up the pressure in the south, but the M1IP is coming back. Berlin Rifles, they have low 80s, so they can hold on in the tree line, but the MX-30 getting overwhelmed there. One Bradley gets killed, National Guard Fireteam Laws got annihilated in no time as well, but the MX-30s there are struggling against the National Guard Bradleys already, and the Berlin Rifles get spotted by the snipers, and that allows the M1IPs to engage them as well, and this is a big issue. Strike Eagle in the skies again, ready to drop some more bombs, and the north is looking really, really rough here for our Berlin command. And it struggles to kill those. It has no long-range AA, it only gets Mistrals as the best AA, basically, and a couple of the non-radar little AA pieces of the British. Mistrals here coming in. I'm currently completely flopping on the name. But yeah, Mistrals is the only thing you get there. As Europe here, FSB wants without radar, those won't be able to hit that.
Yeah, they get the tracked rapier weapons team, basically. And Berlin Rifles unit here for Nighthawk Johnson getting deployed kind of defensively, not perfectly, in a way that it can hang around and hold the zone corner with its low 80. And now the sniper spotting for the Nighthawk.
And when IP goes down, that's a good one. Question is, Phantom should realize that and should be called into the area. It is. And that would be the time to get your 3 Harriers out on this battlefield again. Well, it's not coming in. Okay, but the Nighthawk seems to be able to get out. Good micro there, not risking it for the second time around. Waiting for the right moment and then getting it in. Mistral network has to be ready though. Harriers here coming around, but the Mistral network is not really up yet. We have 2 more AMX-30s going to the north. The AMX-30 is really not doing it so far for me though. Like, they feel like a misinvestment here. They got a couple of infantry kills, but against the vehicles, they just aren't really good. The Bradleys can one-shot them with the Toe 2s, just like they did in the north there. And they can't kill the Bradley one-shot, and they especially can't kill the M1 IPs. So, I don't know, I feel like maybe getting your own M1 IPs, maybe getting something similar would have been more helpful. Ooh, Phantom being stuck behind the lines here. Harriers actually coming back. Harrier kill potential here. First one gets shut down though. Second one nearly gets the kill against the Phantom, but not quite. Mistral maybe should unload there. Oh, Pivot coming in, gets the kill. Okay, that's a good trade. Phantom for Harrier, you always take that. But the Eagle already out on the other side, so Nighthawks will still be hard to get through here throughout this game.
Yeah, the Mistrals and Stingers are currently kind of holding the aggression of Pasta back. The need for air defenses has been recognized, and now even a self-propelled gun 155 getting brought out here of Pasta. So I think this would be the moment for Snowwolfi to counterattack right before the Pasta actually gets the pieces on the board right now. There is not that much here. The Hogs get snapped by the Mistral, by the Stinger actually, but with just with the few infantry units coming in with the Bradleys, if they can be immediately just sent out to apply the pressure again, there are enough vehicles here for Snowwolfi to do damage, in my opinion. There are no long-range ATGMs before the Humvee TOW gets in here, and that thing can be sniped by an M1 IP. And the artillery is not going to be the best thing against a small amount of vehicles. And now the Strike Eagle is moving after in a pretty, I mean, it's in the safe part of the zone, so it doesn't get doesn't get tagged by the Mistrals. But the Strike Eagle here used to be 140-second autonomy. A lot of the planes used to be 140-second autonomy, and this was a balancing feature. But now everything is 240 seconds.
It wasn't a balancing feature, by the way. It was just Eugen putting the number wrong for the most part. Like, it was so random across the board. There was no system behind it. But yeah.
Look,
it was
don't
maybe...
kill the magic for me, okay? I liked it as a feature, okay?
It should come back as a feature with some structure behind it, but it wasn't. That's why it got removed. And yeah, Sniper is holding the line here. Humvee getting shot on the way out. The Stingers and Mistrals, they could be deadly enough now that they have arrived in a decent number. Another one coming up. Finally, an M1 IP here coming up for PastaLavista as well. Humvee TOW moving towards the south here. Two of them are around. That's good enough to maybe start killing some stuff. Snipers on both sides here getting involved, but one is British, one is American. The American with the double sniper deal a decent bit more damage. Costs slightly extra as well. Oh no, actually not anymore. No.
You get more per part with the British, I think.
And the Berlin Rifles, move up here. They have... But they're getting spotted by snipers. Like the M109 not taking care of that sniper rifle team, big mistake. That has revealed so many of the infantry teams to fire. And yeah, getting rid of that would be pretty big. So obviously with the sniper trait, they also are extra stealthy. M109 coming forward. PSSEB in the south gets spotted by the M150. Humvees would be getting into a risky position there if they attack it, but not if they spot it first. M150 has to smoke off, does so. Will get out alive there for now, but at the same time the PSSEB might get too close. Strike Eagle does miss against the PSSEB, but the next one already coming around. Stingers still reloading. They get the Humvee TOW. M150 does disengage. Stinger not hitting, only the pivots deal damage. And yeah, that's the issue when you fight against the Strike Eagles. They can just come in, get a hit, get out, and getting a kill here without long-range radar or long-range AA missiles is really, really hard. So
yeah, now
the ground units have to do it, but there's not that many ground units left here for our player in red. And yeah, only the Berlin Rifles basically with their low 80s maybe can do a bit of work here. As low 80 in Bradley range can one-shot them. First one goes down, M1 IP has to help out here. Now moves forward. They get a near miss onto the second Bradley. They get a kill on the second Bradley. Berlin Rifles living up to the dream. Law 80 absolutely making it work there and holding the line for now. As long as Pasta has some units in that tree line, there is hope. But the question is for how much longer they can hold that.
The 1-0 vet IP Abrams, the red IP Abrams, is currently getting buffed by the leader, so it's not taking catastrophic stress damage. It managed to burst down the sniper and is now trading shots with Snowwolfi's IP Abrams. Currently, Snowwolfi doesn't have any supporting units here. The Bradley could maybe, from up north, could maybe go in and engage. But even then, retreating with this wounded IP Abrams, it will now smoking off. Retreating it outside of the commander's range will basically just ensure that it's going to take some time before it can actually intervene. So most likely the NG fire teams and the other units are going to be moving into position right now. There is now a second artillery piece right near the border, and a Chieftain Mark 10, as well as a second Chieftain Mark 10. There is so much stuff here coming in bit by bit, and but even then, I think the heavy amount of support equipment here for Pasta is just none of it is in a usable position right now, and Pasta needs to attack. This is a -2 because Snowwolfi completely secured the northern town.
Oh my goodness, the Phantom got stressed out by the pivot, completely whiffs against the Humvee tow. Phantom HE, really not the best bomber when it comes to reliability. The M109s here, yeah, good support tools, but two of them maybe a bit overkill at this spot in the game. A better infantry setup in front of this would be more helpful. Like an extra Berlin rifle would have helped not losing the Stinger there. And the Stinger and Mistral numbers has dropped again 2-2. And that's the moment where the Strike Eagle can start running in again. And that's a big issue. More reinforcements for that need to come in. Yeah, another Stinger on the way. 2 more pivots on the way. They can push back the Eagle maybe as well. Then the Nighthawk maybe could come around again. As one more good Nighthawk round against an M1IP of Snowwolfi maybe could open up the south for some armored push with the Chieftains and Abrams as well. Though then whenever you push forward, Strike Eagles have an easier time once more, so it's a really tough thing to set up here. So the faster they can stop the tick at Alpha, the better. And that might be open, but obviously we see that quite easily right now. But without the perfect information that we have, realizing that there really is nothing right now for Snowwolfi and Alpha, and that the Rover CP can just drive in, is not as easy to say for Pasta here.
Yeah, Pasta has pretty nice artillery play here, with the Posse Bs kind of peeking in, spotting the units, and then now the M109 is actually holding fire. Catastrophic that Snowwolfi is moving right out of that pre-targeted zone to attack the Citadel on the middle. Now the artillery salvo leaving just right after it's supposed to. Now immediate smoke out of a Chieftain against the missiles here, with the second wave of missiles getting fired. Also getting smoked off here. Hold on, what happened?
The defensive smoke on the other side happened, so the missiles all whiffed. And yeah, the Chieftains have to push forward, pushing into the infantry, helping out there against the military police. Rover finally moves in. Just as the M1IP moved forward though, and it's not moving through the forest, it's moving over the open road, but it gets back into the forest just in time, so it will make it in. MX-30 moves into a better position in the south as well. But yeah, killing off the planes is tough. So AA has to come in, pivots, pushing back the Eagle a bit, but not quite forcing it to retreat. And yeah, the Eagles now, with 240 seconds time of loitering, can stick around for a good bit longer. And yeah, we'll have to fall back here in a second. M1IP getting artillery here. Rover CP goes down by the M109. And that is annoying. It's not the end of the world. Tick has finally been stopped. 23 minutes remaining though. And yeah, Pasta now needs good traits, like really good traits, to enable this play. And one of lines could help out with that. Nighthawk.
Oh no, Pasta doesn't see the fighter.
Has to be careful. There is a Phantom. There are the 2 Strike Eagles. Oh, the Nighthawk is navigating in really, really dangerous territory.
Snowwolfi spots it, maybe. Now the Strike Eagle getting in here. No, I'm looking at the vision.
Yeah, but no reaction there. Phantom coming back, but getting shot. Ooh, might just see it on the way out. Strike Eagle coming in too late. Oh, flying now over the Stingers. Can the Stingers do something here? The 40 ECM play, allowing both Strike Eagles to make it out alive. They at least are home now reloading. They did burn a decent amount of fuel, so at least might give Pasta now a small window of opportunity to actually do something on the ground, because Pasta has the heavier forces now. 3 tanks versus 4 tanks, even with the MX-30 in the south, 3 heavy tanks in the middle. Killed all the Bradleys there, so there is some room for maneuver now. Just needs to get some recon onto the front line. There is no recon on the battlefield at all right now for Pasta. Pasta is playing a really, really blind game. Like, from the eagle eye with perfect vision, this looks actually like a pretty doable position for Pasta, but Pasta has no idea what's going on.
Yeah, so right now the unit combination here for Berlin Command, there are Berlin rifles, which are good units. You get a shock trade, you get a great AT weapon, it's a large squad, and it's 65 points. And this is a great unit in most infantry situations, but right here, it is going to be pretty expensive, and it's going to be targeted by a lot of both bombers, rockets, and vehicles. 50 cals, ACAVs, the Bradleys also. So not necessarily the most efficient unit to be there. And second of all, Chieftain, 40% KPH, inherently a defensive tank, and with its pretty good range and damage and HE damage, it also can perform that role. But unfortunately, this is an aggressive situation. So the Chieftains are going to have to move around. And if you think the maneuverability is low now, after just getting missed by a few ATGMs, they're going to be basically immobile. Now, the big hitters here are the Humvee tows, and you get a nice number of them. They're fast, they have good stealth, and there is a huge bunch of tows with them, so you don't need to constantly be resupplying them, such as with like Milan cars generally, smaller cars. But even then, the IP Abramses and the Bradleys, especially the IP Abramses, have good enough sights and stabilizers to hit those things reliably if they get spotted. And Snowwolfi having so much nice recon here, using both the mechanized and infantry to constantly screen the front lines. All the unit combinations here, I don't think they're necessarily are the best. This is the issue of soloing a single division, especially when you're soloing a division that has some of the worst anti-air in the game. So, you're always going to have to overinvest into your inefficient anti-air.
Yeah, Hawks getting shut down here in the south. So good defensive there by Pasta, and Pasta's way to victory might be pushing north instead of trying to go for India, but has to hold on to Alpha at the same time, and that's the tough part. Phantom HE coming around again, diving pretty deep into here, but trying to kill off the Stingers. Will get killed off for that, just making it a bit easier for the Strike Eagle. Maybe still not really worthwhile there, but the Apache gets the Humvee tow. Pivot is in a defensive spot here. Doesn't really go for a fight there. Strike Eagle comes around, gets a bomb dropped off, and will now move out again. Humvee tow goes down in the south to the Apache as well. And the trades that Pasta was able to do the last couple of minutes did give them a good amount of forces here. But yeah, they are still pretty bound to the spot they're in right now, thanks to the Strike Eagles that can come around. And they don't really have recon. Recon only now coming up with some SAK, but they are still a good bit out. The M1 IP here is super low for Pasta. Luckily, no recon on the other side, so likely gonna get the CV out of there again, but take now back up here for Snowwolfi, and the M1 IP gets taken out before the Chieftains arrive. Can the Chieftains get at least in to kill off the M1 IPs of Snowwolfi? They're taking slow, and the bombs drop, and the bomb get both of the Chieftains! Oh no, they were right on top of each other. This is the complete disaster. The Strike Eagle gets the double kill, and with that, likely takes the chances of getting to a better position here for PastaLavista with it. Really, really good usage of those Strike Eagles by Snowwolfi. Never overextending, never flying over too many man-pads at once. And, yep, winning the game with the threat of them throughout the game. That's how you're playing 24th. Like, if you want to have heavy US armored mechanized forces, the 3rd US has better stuff to offer. It has even the better F-15C Eagle, but it doesn't have the Strike Eagle.
Yeah, and so far, looking at the Pasta's defenses here, we just saw a bunch of Grenadier Voltigeurs get in here to defend. And these, once again, have some of the best AT weapons in the game, not via penetration, but via range and accuracy with the French LRAX. And once again, it seems like Pasta is preparing to fight a completely different attack. This massing of infantry out there is very simply just feeding our artillery. We're seeing Snowwolfi just play to type, send an NG fire team out there, NG fire team spots everything, snipers and Bradleys and Abrams do the fighting. And the NG fire team is 25 points. This is still very much trading up. The NG fire teams are basically like bonuses you get for buying the Bradleys, and even then they still get 2 medium machine guns, so they're not like they do actually affect your fighting capacity. Like it has more firepower almost than a Motostrelki. Yeah, more than a Motostrelki.
Yeah, artillery here coming up. Phantom gets out alive once more here. Nighthawk is back in action. Once more trying to have an impact here. Did a good job staying alive. Like a fantastic job. Keeping it alive against Phantoms and Eagles like that. That's not an easy job. But if there's one guy who does know how to make them work, it's Pasta. And Pasta now coming in for the engineers here. Will at least get another bomb off. Oh no, it's actually targeting the Apache that landed. Ooh, smacking the Apache. Good hit there. Apache gets hit, and it is now has to take the risk. Comes around for another run, and will try to get another kill. No AA out on the other side, so it will get its second bomb off as well. And gets a lot of damage, but not quite a kill into the M1IP there. And that's a problem. Humvee Toe here, trying to help out as well. Oh, Pivot about to go down in the south. And yeah, just not enough mechanized forces here left for PastaLavista. And you only get a limited amount in building command. You can't endlessly spam planes. Tanks.
Yeah, so like the fundamental issue here is that Vertigo is an excellent 24th defense map. Most maps are excellent 24th defense maps, but 24th here representing the spamming expensive long range defense units and just trading away with them. This is the kind of gameplay that you dread getting into if the enemy has a tick on you. And as I kind of suspected, Pasta was unprepared for the mech infantry attack up north at the start, and this has completely kind of put the map all the way around. Like the fact that Snowwolfi can just keep holding this site and keep doing damage while sitting here right like behind these forests. This is there is nowhere here really to go. Like the Humvee Toes and the smaller number of worse tanks would maybe work, and the infantry defense would work if this was about preventing Snowwolfi from pushing up. But the aggro opener was just completely whipped up by like 2 Bradleys and some military police.
Yeah, it was not supposed to go in there like that. And yeah, it had to go. And then it just didn't quite move off. The M1IP just stopping the push on the south by killing off the MX-30s. And not allowing Alpha to get captured. But the north, the fight did go and went. Yeah, that just kind of killed the momentum here for Pasta. Having to use defensive units aggressively. And now they are in real trouble. 13 minutes only. With a push towards India, this still could turn around. But how do you get to India? Chieftain gets annihilated there by the M2A1. Bradleys go down, but there are still 2 M1IPs behind this. Only 2 M1IPs here as well. And the Strike Eagle is out again. And the Strike Eagle is coming in with another bomb. It's not on target though. Loses line of sight there. Guided bombs not targeting through. So at least the tick gets stopped again. But there are 3 Bradleys here. There are still the Strike Eagle threat. Oh no, bombs drop again. No, they actually get the stinger. Okay, that was the target, and yeah, now there are not even any man-pets left on this battlefield. This is how dire the situation here is. And yeah, really teaching a history lesson. You didn't want to be one of those abandoned NATO soldiers in West Berlin if Cold War went hot, because you would not have had a good time there.
Yeah, especially not when you're under attack by the formation that destroyed the Iraqi armored forces.
Yeah. M109s here, coming around. No heavy air defense systems here for Berlin Command. Would have been a pain against the packed air forces already, and against the creme de la creme, the best strike aircraft in the game with the Strike Eagle. It's fully insufficient. And yeah, it's Nighthawk coming in here, trying to help out again. Its brethren already has fallen. It does its best here. They still absolutely paid off. But yeah, getting another Bradley, might get another M1, though the F-15 is closing in, and nope, this Nighthawk won't make another run. As oh yeah, it goes down in the end there. Eagle missing surprisingly many missiles there at first, but gets the kill nonetheless.
Yeah, the Eagles always surprise like that, don't they? Now with like a number of M1 IP tanks here, 3 specifically, with the Chaparrals around, with the sniper and the Bradleys working as cover basically if the Abramses want to disengage here, and even with the scout going getting into one of those towns, this is like a complete tactical advantage here for even without the trades, the positions are all Snowwolfies. Taking out the scout there, but so what happened here? Numerous issues, I think, on Pasta's opener. One of them was just assuming that this was going to be like a stacked up mech attack, but also for whatever reason, not assuming that Snowwolfie was going to open with an IP Abrams. Why wouldn't you? It's only 240 points, and it's like the first unit you want to arrive in the front line when your enemy is pushing stuff out there, because it is like technologically superior to basically everything Berlin has. So why bring out the AMX-30Bs? Why? And then when the front line gets trades
Stream
away,
down? Why is stream down? I have no idea why stream down.
yeah, it's actually did actually shut down, but it's going on YouTube right now.
What? Twitch down? Okay. The hell?
Yeah, it seems so.
I have no idea why. It gives me a bit rate. The bit rate is actually fine.
And it's showing the emote thingy on Twitch.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm gonna check Northern Lion stream. Is it also down? No, it's not down.
No. YouTube is not down as well. It seems to be a Twitch issue. I have. How do we? Okay, there we go. We're back. We are back, everybody. We are so back. I have no idea what happened there. It was for once not a technical issue on my end. I think it was Twitch tomfoolery here at play. Like neither my internet nor Nvidia driver issue nor anything else coming in. But hey, we are so back, everybody. And yeah, once more, thanks Teeman for the raid earlier. And yeah, really good game here by Snowwolfi. Pasta did give it the best. The Nighthawk still absolutely doing its job. I wish we could show you the numbers of games played, but yeah, yesterday it was 499 games played. Not sure if Pasta has played the 500th game yet on the division, but yeah, Nighthawks, they did pay off here. They did its job. M109s did a decent job as well, but staying up against that air superiority, it's just really, really tough. And if you are behind on the take, like Berlin Command wants to play from a point advantage, wants to play from an early take. And that's the issue of the division. It wants to do that, but it doesn't quite get tools to do it because it doesn't get any forward deployment. It only gets an okay recon deployment with Foxes and the PSSCBs. At least that got a bit better. But being a division that wants to play from a point advantage and not getting the really good tools to do it is why this division is not regarded as a top tier division. It is pretty solid because it gets a funky mix of tools, but it isn't one of the top ones, and it's really only scary as of late in the hands of Pasta, but it's still pretty scary there. So let's see what we will see game number 2. I would expect another Berlin Command game, but we're gonna see if Snowwolfi does another 24th, or what exactly is going to happen there. Quick break, and then we're gonna be back. here we return, everybody. Game number 2. And it's on one of our favorite maps, because it's the fixed version of our least favorite map. And that is Mount River Duel. And Snowwolfi and Pasta are back, and no Berlin command. So this is going to be interesting. But before we jump in, a real quick shout out to the Metrino page. And a big thank you there, guys. As the Metrino got bigger overnight. Brett and CX Vister coming in with $20 and $25 each, meaning that we are now at $262. And that means the first bigger stretch goal that we usually have at around $200 is absolutely blown out of the park. So 3rd and 4th place in Division 1 will get part of the prize pool. Now it is trying to get to $300. And at that moment, then the Division 2 winner will get a $25 prize pool as well. So if you want to make it a bit more interesting for these two players that we see right now, you can help out by contributing via Metrino. And thanks to all of you guys for helping out with the Metrino in general, as we got all the 50 coupons taken out as well. So yeah, the free money has been used up. Much appreciated, guys. All the support of all of you as always. Clicking the claim code buttons, getting us here. Blanket Boy coming in as the final free code. I will try to get more codes for us. Usually with the long running tournaments, the guys at Metrino allow even a second run, especially once they are used up. So we're gonna see if we maybe can even get another couple of $3 roos. So that would be amazing. And yeah, let's get into the action here now. Snowwolfi and Mr. Nighthawk Johnson here.
Yeah, you will be visited by a lesser demon to claim back the your coupon, of course. But don't worry, it's not a big deal. It's not like an Ambien or something. It's like a little imp only. Protoss works with them. It's called web marketing. Anyways, 4E Divisie, the Dutch armored division, excellent on this map. Excellent even now that it got nerfed. Genie work with the recon transport, excellent damage dealer against fighting other infantry early on for very cheap, only 75 points for both of those units, both of them very usable. The KCT Werkeners being very cheap, fast, and not the best, not the Delta or Honker speed, but KCT Werkeners can go out there and deploy themselves as GSR recon. They're early on, and they can basically give you the perfect conditions to start microing your vehicles. And the vehicles here being Leopard 1 and Ls and Leopard 2A4Bs, not the up armored ones, but the ones that can still do a lot of damage. Very mech heavy investment, which is why I like playing Dutch. Dutch is very much a mobile armored division, and with its Indicon component, you can start playing with the armor right at the start. You don't need to do a slow scaling or build up. And these being Leopard 2s, they really reward micro. And Pasta here is opening up with a bunch of urns and MI2 recon choppers. These are not the best choice with the Stinger and Cheetah being out here, but they will be able to maybe trade away some of those recon units, which is a valuable thing to do early on against 4th Dutch. 9th Division for the DDR is very slow relatively. We're not seeing mass T-72s getting brought out here. We're not seeing the T-72S even to hold the middle with superior ATGMs. We are seeing with the budget option, the Sturm with the Kokon missiles, which still are better than most missiles, but even if the KCT Werkeners are allowed to stay around here, even a standard Leopard 1 can probably get in position to destroy the Sturm. It doesn't have smoke and it's very slow.
Yeah, the MI2 Urns here, though, dealing an okay job. F-16 actually gets shut down by MiG-23, but the MiG-23, one of the MiG-23s goes down as well. So, yeah, bit of an interesting jump onto the enemy spawn there with the MiG-23s on the side, protecting the MI2 Urns against any dives. But obviously with the Cheetah in the south and the Stingers, eventually the air helicopter should get dealt with. They also only have 100 rounds of ammo in the 23mm gun, so they run out of ammo eventually too. But might take a YPR with TOW 2 Vivid here as the final unit to kill. And that would be actually pretty helpful. It misses a lot of shots there, though. Max range shots, not the most accurate. But the Storm does get the job done, even though heavily stressed out. So, decent kill here with the helicopter the opener for the 9th Panzer. Comes with a follow-up Su-22 here against the Leo 1 and Ls. But the Leo 2 4B would be the way more interesting target in the south. But no recon around to actually spot that.
Yes, this there is a kind of a relative weakness in air here with the great AT plane Su-22 going out there, and there are no Eyehawks. The Dutch F-16 AA plane doesn't have it's not as bad as the Belgian one. It has the better AIM-9 missiles, but it's still not a top tier fighter, and can be, especially on long range, countered by 9th in the air. So investments into Eyehawks are probably pretty necessary if Snowwolfi wants to keep up any aggression showing tanks in the front line here.
Yeah, the MiG-23 not coming around to try to hit the F-16 with long-range missiles is interesting. The Su-22 coming in, gets the Leopard 2A4. That's a nice hit there. Has to get out of there before the F-16 can get the kill, but the Leo 2A4B going down. That's a nice advantage now for PastaLavista in the north. F-16, though, gets the Su-22 killed, so in the end, that's still a fine trade. Eyehawk now coming up, so these airplays gonna be more limited in the future. And it's a +1 now for Snowwolfi again. No engagements here in the south. The Leo 2A4 and the T-72s just staying where they are. And the middle, Snowwolfi with a slightly better position there too. Well, the first T-72 arrives for the north. With the Leo 2 going down there, that MEV has some room for maneuver, but it has to use it as well.
Yeah, very interestingly, the Sturm here is spotted currently. It is completely visible for Snowwolfi, as Snowwolfi now moving both of his tanks to engage it basically at the same time. And even with the move attack happening up north, the second move also is under spotting, and with a lack of Leopard 2A4 and having only bought a Leopard 2 right now, there is probably not going to be an immediate cluster bomber that's going to start challenging these units. But with the recon frontline staying up here, the Leopard 2s are gonna be eating good, I think.
Yes, MEVs coming up in bigger numbers. The Leopard 2A4B only has 16 frontal armor though, so the 19 pen of the T-72 could be dangerous if they find the right engagement ranges, and they are still pretty cost efficient. Yes, they got nerfed, but even for 180 points, they are pretty solid tanks. At the same time though, Snowwolfi now coming in with the push from the south, and the Aufklärer there not getting the kill against the Leo 1NL, as they were a bit too stressed out. And the Leo 1NL does survive. Middle will get captured, and with that, the take will get normalized again. MEV does miss the first shot in the south. BMP2 gets an ATGM out, but will get shot at as well. And does miss, has to smoke off as well. Unfortunate there for Pasta that both did miss there. Otherwise, the Leo 2A4B would be pretty crippled there at this point already. F-16A cluster coming around. MEV versus Leo 1NL. The Leo 1NL gets hurt heavily, but the cluster bomber likely gonna come around for the kill. And there is no AA here yet. The Leo 1NL will go down. Oh, it doesn't drop. It lost line of sight there. Or something. No, I have no idea why it didn't drop.
It was on a right click command, and the T-72 moved just for a millisecond behind the trees. The T-72 was showing side armor to the tank, and but the tank's reload just happened on the wrong spot. Now a second wave coming in here with the F-16, and also coincidentally taking out an Mi-2 and finding out that there is no anti-air defense. This is a hint for Snowwolfi now to invest into air immediately. And having bought another Genie work and another Leo, there are not the points for this immediately, but still the trading is going decently so far for the aggro division.
Good move there of the Fagot coming in for Pasta in the north. T-72 MEV together with the Fagot. It's still cheaper than the Leo 2A4B. And the Fagot stunning the Leo 2A4B allowed the MEV there to win that duel. with the Leo having to smoke off and having desperately to repair need of repair because it's down to only 3 hit points. Any hit could kill it now. Whilst BMP2 pushing forward against the Leo 1NL. Can the Leo 1NL find a hit? Yes, it can. Can the BMP2 retaliate? No, it can't. Once more. And with the longer reload time, it won't be able to get another ATGM ready in time before the Leo recovers from the stun. So it does fall back here. The reload time on ATGMs from IFVs coming in there. And the Cheetah getting rid of RPG 27 units. The Coop's still not in range here to really hurt the F-16. Will stress it out, but have to get closer. And then there come the TOW2s now, dealing with one of the BMP2s. MEV forced back as well. Storm under fire. Coops coming in, whipping again. And the F-16 likely gonna make it out, as even the last shot there does whiff. So South does hold. The North is captured for now by Pasta, so no take here. That's pretty okay. But the central position has been reduced quite a bit. The MEVs want to help out against the Cheetah, but the Cheetah is in such a nasty spot. Dealing with it is going to be quite annoying.
Yeah, this is the positioning for Snowwolfi here is really nice, and it really is just the KCD Vergeners getting played well here and playing around the superior units and the ability to buy like 4 of them in the opener and it not be a big investment is something very relevant to armored divisions. And now with another Genie work going in there, there's going to be an engineer squad that can finally drive out the Motherschützen safely. And so far, Snowwolfi still playing this methodically, waiting for his opponent to make a mistake here, and meanwhile slowly moving the Leopards in kind of these fighting positions based around the KCT Vergeners. Leopard 2 opening fire on the wounded T-72, missing and getting a hit with the T-72 running away now for the moment, but forcing the Leo once again to go back and start supplying. And speaking of supply, there's a bunch of it coming in for the Dutch, and the more supply trucks you have, the faster the tanks will repair. So very crucial to make these investments before the really big fights, and so that they can actually start paying off.
Yeah, units pushing forward. Well, we see more units coming in here. As HE bombers flying around. HE bomber being pushed back. Yeah, the center is the big question mark now. Can the T-72s break that? The northern situation is pretty stable. Both sides not really engaging there. MiG-23 now diving deep here. Has to be careful with the Cheetah. Ooh, F-16 able to get on its tail. That is a misplay there from Pasta. Gets punished for it. MiG-23 goes down, and the Shilka and the Coops failing to get the F-16 in return. Coops firing on a really long range, not able to find the hit there. And yeah, Coops in general, this game so far, not really on it yet. And now we have 3 T-72s in the middle. There are now 2 Leo 2A4Bs coming in though, and there is a TOW2. So the number game here is pretty equal, and that's a big issue here for PastaLavista. The Jenny Vacana is also seeing the T-72 MEV in the south. Motschützen RPG 27 could be a bit of a surprise there for the Leo 2A4, but they have to be careful. Oh no, cluster bomber coming in. Coops once more not able to get a hit, and the cluster bomber gets through, gets the kill, and this is a disaster because now there is no tank that can stop the Leo 2A4B here. Nothing that can kill it, and yeah, this is
outside of the RPG 27 there, but the Snowwolfi is even running the Predator, the radar recon unit. And with the Leopard 1 and Nell with it, they're going and they're going to cut off the reinforcement route to this. This is amazing. This is like using the units to the maximum effect, and especially using the knowledge of constantly getting information on how much reinforcements are coming to the upper sectors and the middle sectors. And this giving confidence for Snowwolfi to start moving around. and now a recon helicopter is coming in. I think something has been spotted here. I'm not sure by what. I think maybe even by the Shilka, actually. And but with the AA plane supporting this, if it doesn't get tagged by a Cube here, the Mi-24D AT could actually be taken out. And even then, there is a 50 cal here with the Perder, so who knows? Another plane coming in, this time a Freedom Fighter.
Yeah, coming in for the Mordschützen, opening up the path as the YPR leader is coming in. This time around, the Cubes finally get a hit. Finally get a kill. YPR in the south. Get attacked by the Mi-24 now. Smoking off immediately. Will get out alive. Leo 2A4. Getting attacked by the BMP2, but BMP2 not able to get the ATGM on target. Cube has to be careful there as well. Getting pretty far forward. Another one coming south. Has to be careful there around the Leo 2A4 as well. The Mi-24 will get rid of the Leo 1NL. Good reaction there from Pasta. But center is still the same thing. Artillery going blindly for the building. And yeah, both games I feel like Pasta struggling a bit with the recon game. Not really seeing enough of the enemy. This time around we have a couple of Aufklärers around, but they're nowhere near close enough to the enemy to actually get any meaningful information there. And in the game number 1, we obviously had the 3, 4, 5 minutes where there was none at all. F-16 here will get shut down after killing off the Mi-24, but nothing there to stop the Leo 2A4B that now has full-on oversight over the area. BMP2 there will go down, and that means the YPR can go in, can get the +2 take up, and Pasta might have to do a push now in the middle, but TOW 2 is still there, Leo 2s are still there. T-72 is not good for that push. Shilka and Mi-2 go down in the south, and this is a bit of a disaster here for our player in red right now.
Yes, Snowwolfi having that Leopard 2A4 there means that every other unit in the backline is going to have to expect that thing starts moving up north. And if there is an actual mech attack in the middle, which seems to be what's happening right now with the T-72s, Snowwolfi could actually send the tank out there to try to get behind them. And they, of course, don't have the information.
Oh, no.
But
Middle T-72 got side-shotted by a TOW 2 and gets immediately one-tapped. And that is something you just can't allow at this moment. Like, this was the moment where you were about to reach critical mass, and now it's losing its mass, and that means it's not critical anymore. It's just lightweight, and that won't get you through the middle here.
Yeah, not against the situation where you also have to keep up this wide front line against Lima. There is a recon and a tank and numerous infantry units that are getting positioned here to just hold this and prevent any breakthroughs. Even though the Leopard 1 and Brder harassment did not work, it did bait out the helicopter, which was then killed. So points were spent to it, even though those units are not the most expensive ones. And so far, Snowwolfi securing this +2 and even buying reservist infantry units, just like fortify their positions for now. And up north there, yeah, even though up north Pasta officially had the positions, the actual fire superiority all around meant that Snowwolfi was going to win any engagement that was going to happen.
Yeah, and Snowwolfi here with the 2-1 KD, taking game number 2 as well. Pasta just a bit out of position. And with that, Snowwolfi will move back into the semifinals, and with that, will move back to Division 1 next season, as the semifinalists are the ones moving up next season. So GGVP here, Snowwolfi taking the 2-0, and with that, taking the series in this best of 3. And they will fight the winner of MJ Player versus Bloody Knight, with Snowwolfi here getting into it. And yeah, really, really good games here. Fantastic little series. Next series coming up after this will be Nocturna and Ghostdragon. 2 fantastic players as well. Nocturna with a really strong group stage. Ghostdragon performing quite nicely here as well. Veteran player from Steel Division, one of the top Steel Division players out there. And really getting a hang of WARNO lately as well. So I'm quite excited for this as well. Seeing who will become the opponent of Axis in this second semifinal here. And yeah, we're gonna go into a short break. And then we're gonna be back with the next series. Congratulations once more to Snowwolfi, and a really good run by Pasta as well, but Snowwolfi just a bit too solid. By the way, Snowwolfi has a Twitch channel under the same name as well, so if you want to support Snowwolfi, I will put that it's Snowwolfi is the Twitch channel basically. I'll put that in the chat right now. Really nice person.
If you want to support the heli attack opener play lifestyle, which I
Yeah, really, really fun and solid streams as well over at that channel. So if you want to see more WARNO in your life, check out that Twitch channel. And yeah, with that said, yeah, and yeah, nearly making it into the semifinals here. Not quite this time, but maybe next time season. And with that said, guys, yeah, let's get ready for the next series, Nocturna versus Ghostdragon. I am hyped. I hope you're hyped as well. See you all there. And that brings us to the next series with Nocturna and Ghostdragon. And we are back to Vertigo, the most played division map in the league. And with a decent margin, because it's just a basic one. There is nothing to worry about big real-line action. There is just frontline combat. It's frontline combat through and through. It's decently balanced between the two sides. And yeah, that's what you want in your tournament games as a tournament player. No big surprises there. It's not as decisive in the first 5 minutes as Two Lakes, and I would say also slightly more balanced than Two Lakes when it comes to the sides. So yeah, and it isn't as surprising as an Omen that can get you in the rear line, or something like a Black Forest where you could mess up by getting murdered in your rear line or mispositioning your forces at the beginning a bit too much and so on. So Vertigo makes perfect sense in my eyes as the most played map. It is for sure a bit of the vanilla flavor kind of map. It's not really fancy in the strategic movements, but it's pretty fancy in the battles you get on it. That's why I'm still quite enjoying the games we get, and the one we have in front of us is an interesting matchup as well between two divisions that got nerfed, but that are still pretty powerful. And the question is, which one is more powerful on this map? Nocturna bringing around 79th here, the heavy tank division.
79. Sorry.
And yeah, on the other side, we have 56 VDV. So, chat, what do you think? Which one is the more powerful division for the map? Most likely 56, still the more powerful division in general when you want to play ranked on average. But for the map, 79 has a couple of good arguments for it as well, for sure.
Yeah, here we're seeing the very recon-heavy attack with a lot of soft power and anti-air. Soft attack with the AGS-17s and the BRDMs with the double machine guns going out there and trying to eliminate any early infantry. This is like a very standard powerful opener, supported probably by some air and immediate follow-up that gets kind of pre-planned from 56's point of view. But Nocturna here is responding to this with some pretty big dig power plays. We're seeing just the one Kub, one Tunguska, one T80, two fire support tanks, and three Rasvedka BMP2s. And all of the Rasvedka BMP2s are up-vetted, as they should be, because they are combat units, not recon units. And the forward deploying component here with BMP2s will likely have more firepower to actually challenge both the BRDMs and the Luazes with the AGS-17s, not to mention the fact that the Spetsnaz grew, even though their AT weapons have 21 pen, have only 500-meter range. That is kind of unpractical if you're a four-man squad and you're under autocannon fire. And with this opener coming in here, it so far looks like this is going to be a huge rollover for Nocturna, even if 56 can invest a little bit of recon infantry to secure the north, and then of course they can very cheaply and effectively defend it because they're 56th. I just don't see them trading well in the opener. There should be some pretty significant miss micro. I just don't think that doing the BRDM opener is sensible against the 79th. 79th on Vertigo this season has been some of the most predictable and powerful play, and opening up with exactly this mech heavy positioning with a bunch of recon. You have the Spetsnaz crew if you want to do this carefully, if you want to do this very passively and you don't want to challenge the enemy opener, you get with the Spetsnaz crew and Rasvedka. And if you do want to challenge the enemy recon opener, you play like this. And I'm saying that this is both tactics and division wise completely Nocturna so far.
Well, there is a decent amount of ATGMs coming around, though. There is a Conquerors going up on the hill. There are some Luats Fagots coming around. And I mean, there are two BMPTs there coming in on the side of our little Ghostdragon here, too. And the question is, where do the BRDMs go? They are currently securing Dimitri. They could also then maybe try to do some deep runs here, trying to get some Coops, trying to get some Tunguskas maybe. But, yep, Nocturna is having to try to push to Boris relatively quickly because that northern area is going to get picked up by Ghostdragon quite easily right now. And even T2 MD going up there will be helpful with its long-range Bastion ATGM, and the BRDMs and the AGSs here helping out against the Spetsnaz GRU in the middle. So with the Conquerors on the hill, there is some staying power in this. The TO-55s, they don't have smoke, but they are 2-vet, 3-vet with the leader. TADB, 1-vet, 2-vet with the leader. So the push that Nocturna has here for sure is powerful. The question is, can there be enough maneuver here on the side of Ghostdragon to stop it and to keep it off just rushing into Boris and seizing the power, seizing the trades?
Yeah, the Rasvedka BMP2s up in the middle Citadel fight are unloaded their troops and are being microed pretty well here to single out these the support vehicles. And now it's only about microing the infantry so they don't get taken out by the Afghansi on close range. and then keeping the BMP2s firing, as always with fire support. And up north, we're seeing the BRDM raiding squadron actually going out there and even spotting the KPV, but those things are not going to be able to do that much immediate damage. But on the long term, if they can get in good recon positions and hide themselves well enough,
Good smoke
the
there.
information.
T62 in the middle, and yeah, the raid in the north is going to be interesting, but the VP2s here, they need to stay alive. The T62 positioning there of Ghostdragon actually pretty strong. Getting the overview in the road towards the town, and the T62's Bastion is faster flying and is able to one-shot all of this. The Rajvetka in the north stopping the BRDMs, actually failing to hit them though. Likely gonna get down there, get one kill, but the BRDMs will keep on moving, and this is actually going pretty terribly here for Nocturna. And Ghostdragon actually using the speed advantage in the north. So now Nocturna has to push in the south, and there is a Conquerors on the hill. There is the Luats on the side. There is a BMP2 there in a decent spot as well. So will that succeed? No smoke on the T-055s. That's the big issue here. The smoke on the T-80B already dropped. Another BMP2 from the north. Nocturna here in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, this Nocturna's attack here, I think, is kind of like natural automatic counter pressure, but they're just the pieces were not in place yet. It was a direct attack further up right and just stepped right into this concave. Nocturna didn't have the Razvedka actually secure the positions here, did not have the infantry go out there first.
The T-80 goes down, the MiG-27 nearly killing the Su-24 there, and it also will likely make it out alive. Coop will get one more long-range shot. Can it get the kill? That would be important. No, it doesn't. And the Skull push got stopped. Fantastic flanking with the Bastions. And yeah, just a really, really good hold there. The BMP2 push through the middle, not working. And the BRDMs, they are more expensive than back in the day. They were 35 points back in the day. They were really cost efficient then. They aren't the powerhouse they once have been, but they are still annoying when they can get into the right spots. And yeah, they kind of forced Nocturna maybe to play faster than they wanted to be, and maybe playing even faster than they needed to be. The BRDMs, I mean, you can still beat them with something like the BRDM Conquerors and some recon. Like, it's not like they can kill everything off you, but Nocturna got baited into overextending, and this is actually looking quite rough right now.
Yeah, but currently the Luasfa got fired all of its missiles. The Conquerors got taken out by that bombing run, and now a Razvedka BMP2 only has 2 missiles left, one of them getting fired just now. And with the reinforcement T-80, this looks like it's actually going pretty well for Nocturna, at least as far as getting into the zone. And taking out 2 BMP2s in both the north and south flanks here. Nocturna getting some key kills to keep that T-80 alive. And having driven away the
MiG-27 AT coming in though, there is no smoke, and it's going down. Yeah, no, it was too much on one basket. The T-80 didn't have enough support anymore, and this is stopped for forever now. There is BMP2s, there is T-62s, and T-62s suck on the offense, but the Bastion missile, they are the best IFV in the game, basically, is what the T-62 is. It's a 14 frontal armor IFV. That's how you play it. It just shoots missiles out that can one-shot enemy IVs, while it's not dying to them one-shot, while it's not dying to tank shots one-shot, stunning down enemy tanks, side-shotting them and killing them that way. And yeah, the Motostrelke and Modrajvetka are stranded. BMP2s and T-62s outnumber the 2 BMP2s of Nocturna that desperately tried to make it in here, and it's Ghostdragon is playing the 52nd perfectly here. Playing the flexible defense with the endless HGMs, and Nocturna is struggling to keep up with it.
Yeah, those Bastion missiles just being a little bit faster than what you've gotten used to means that unloading units always becomes a tragedy, or generally becomes a tragedy. Another maybe a little bit overpowered, actually not in this case, because there are 3 units getting targeted here. A cluster bomber trying to get in here, and there is a Strela, but won't be able to stop this bombing run from actually happening, and no micro happening.
Yeah, Strela and Iglado able to get the kill. So in the end, it's still a trade. It's a bit of a sliver of hope here, though, for the momentum of Nocturna, as there is a new T-80 and 3 more BMP2s coming up. And with the 3 units removed there, with the 3 defensive units, including 1 T-62 removed, with the Fagot in the south out of ammo, there is a Conquerors on the way, but there is still a bit of momentum here for Nocturna to get back into town now. traded the cluster
Yeah.
bomber for it. The BRDMs in the north not able to really intercept anything right now. The north fully in the hands of Ghostdragon, but there is a bit of a momentum towards Boris as the reinforcements of Ghostdragon on the way. 4 BMP2s there as well. A T62 coming up too, but they are just that bit too late maybe, as they're one tick behind.
Yeah, this not having the southern forest solidly controlled is allowing Ghostdragon to get recon and just practical map control. Because if you can't reinforce the Boris zone from going from the south, you have to drive through the middle, which puts your stuff under the risk of the ATGMs. And countering this only with air, which is what this so far has happened for Nocturna, no artillery out here, it can be done for a little bit, but we're almost 10 minutes in, and after that, starting to attrition your heavy bombers against Strelas and Stingers, just not the best way to go. And BMPs do get in the zone, and their firepower will be able to burst down the Conquerors if the Conquerors gets in a bad position, and a T-80 opening fire on the infantry that is trying to cross the zone from up north. But with some vetted up Pulema Chicken BMP2s coming in for Ghostdragon, the firepower advantage that T-80 needs to perform here. Otherwise, 56 is going to drag 79th into costly and bad infantry engagements around the towns.
Yeah, Pulmachikis even could push south now and ambush the AA there, potentially. But yeah, there is an equilibrium now in firepower around Bravo. 5 BMP2s versus 3 BMP2s and a T-80BV. T-80BV comes around now, will take 1 BMP2 out. A couple more Luats Fagots moving around the angle. But there comes the MiG-27K again. It's a fantastic AT play. And the Coups, the Tunguska of Nocturna, not quite enough to stop it yet so far. The MiG-29 not being called in against these units just yet. And this means that the T-80BV is still living a dangerous life here on the front line. As soon as it gets spotted, the MiG-27 likely going to push forward. BMP-2 there goes down on the side of Nocturna. Nocturna about to stop the tick here. 500 point lead for the red team. And a lot of BRDMs here seeing the reinforcement roads here for Ghostdragon. That's a nice information advantage as well. Ooh, cluster bomber coming into a dangerous area. Stinger coming out, will miss. Strela coming in, but the cluster bomber double kill against the BMP2s and will get out alive. So another nice win here for Nocturna, at least able to get the foothold there into the Boris point.
Yeah, I really like what Ghostdragon is doing with the map control here. I mean, the BRDM opener, of course, was one thing, but keeping up this constant attempts of enclosing on the enemy. If you zoom out, you can see how this is going here, and me being able to see the visions of the players. There's just like constant direct understanding of what's happening. Units that Nocturna thinks are hidden are set up in positions where they can be targeted. The information here is helping Ghostdragon plan out these fights and when to push and when not to. And recently, for instance, has not been any reinforcements for now. So I think this is kind of the place to start taking the risks before any more reinforcements arrive. And something that it's difficult to get the T-80 out with air because it is in the tree line here. But if it just gets suppressed well enough, the infantry can maybe start getting close in here. Yes, now Pulamachiki unit getting sacrificed so that the Fagots can start taking their shots from the sides.
Yeah, both sides with Fagot HGMs, they don't deal a lot damage frontally, only 1 damage per hit. But from the side, they still can deal a decent bit. I would like to see some artillery. Okay, we see the cluster HE at mortar. I'm interested to see how this one will perform now, since it isn't AP cluster anymore, but it still has a big spread. Ooh, and the T-80B goes down! MiG-27K actually gets a side shot there and gets the kill. Su-24 coming along. Has to be careful with the Stinger and the Strela not able to get the shot on target. S-24 push back, but T-80BV going down the tree line. That allows everything to push here. And Ghostdragon, if Ghostdragon realizes that, the T-62s could just push in there and take the whole zone. But not really going for it yet. Lacks a bit of infantry. The Pulamachiki go down, and Nocturna allowed to stay in it for now. TO-55 is coming up. Another TADBV coming in from the rear. The question is, will it arrive in time here? Because, yeah, as I said, nearly nothing left in the town. Only some wounded infantry units. They will try to defend themselves, but the AGS here pushing forward. The BMP-2 pushing forward. First Motostrelki going down. TO-55 is about to arrive here, but the T-62s are in fantastic spots here to intercept with the missiles from the north. 4 T-62s already here, and yeah, really showing why why 56 VDV is still such a strong division. It is still a mech powerhouse. It doesn't quite have the insane cost efficiency it has in the past, but it still has all the tools you need in a mechanized formation. It has a lot of free veterancy going around as well, so the cost efficiency is still really, really high, and the TO-55 here is in a world of trouble, and with that, Nocturna is in a world of trouble.
Yeah, I mean the Ghostdragon is getting like the dream recon here. That kill on the T-80BV, that was the Spetsnaz crew. The Spetsnaz crew helped it and gave it the spotting and the ability to target. Now the HE plane actually probably getting a kill on the infantry recon and a infantry leader unit here, but outside of this, it's gonna be very difficult to attack on long range here. If Nocturna had not whittled away all the mech in these fights, if they hadn't been spending points on the Su-24s that have been also kind of methodically being taken out by the air defenses or attritioned away, at this point, this late game would be completely different. But Ghostdragon has been able to keep up the initiative in a way that I find very impressive, partly because of the rushed nature of Nocturna's middle attack, not securing, kind of losing the fight of the Citadel there and wanting to immediately do something, left the south and the southeast flanks completely unsecured. And those ended up not having that defense meant that now that Ghostdragon is getting into the zone, like it could be theoretically possible for Nocturna to use the southern forest currently with the Motora Spetka getting destroyed and target the units that are coming in on Boris. And that's a very standard tactic, but because the groundwork was not laid, we're back in square one, and now the defense is happening in a very small angle.
Yeah, we have BMP2s coming up here on both sides still, and the printer is going on there, but that's just good for Ghostdragon. Yes, Ghostdragon is on a +2, Ghostdragon is in the defensive spot, and BMP2s, they're fantastic defensively. They're pretty good offensively, but they're fantastic defensively. So that's an advantage here for Ghostdragon, who can use them like that. HE cluster mortar now also forcing the hand here a bit, aiming on to the repairs position of the TADBV will just be constantly annoying and force movement out of Nocturna, who wants to focus and try to set up a final push basically here to try to get this position turned around. And yeah, gets the second TADBV coming up right now. This one being an ICD, has a couple of BMP2s up, but the force position on the battlefield already pretty heavily here in Ghostdragon's favor. So you really need to get a good couple of these TADs online to maybe have a chance just by the sheer weight of those heavy tanks that the other side can't quite mirror.
Yeah, and we're seeing the reinforcements here with the Mi-8 rocket to clean up this widespread infantry here, which is a good choice for Nocturna. But and with the recon units from the Raspetka BMP-2 unloading, there will be another basically flank for Nocturna to defend, and this will make any attacks more difficult. But Ghostdragon does not have to do attacks, doesn't need to do attacks. Nocturna here can't really do an attack on any point, so the goal here would be to just trade up, get as many kills as possible, and don't lose any of your stuff. It is possible to come behind a 2,500 point lead for the enemy if you just recover some positions and just try to desperately play into the late game. And as far as we've seen so far, it does mean securing these recon positions. The Sapere RPO managing to do this job in the south, but right now Ghostdragon is not willing to let this go, sending in a pretty formidable force to capture those southern positions. With the pretty correct assumption, I think that if Ghostdragon gets them, the Nocturna is not in a position to counterattack anymore. Not in the south, at least.
We get HE Mortar here, now aiming onto Nocturna's position there in the middle. HE cluster coming around. T62s here, setting up for even more positions in the south. T62s in the middle, falling back, just wanting to use the long range as good as possible. And the cluster will be likely a bit too late here again. Its aim time is pretty long. Goes out now for its long journey upwards before it starts its long journey downwards. Both cluster rounds flying in, but Nocturna seems to be even faster on the push there. Pushing forward, MiG-23 coming along, trying to shoot down the MiG-8, the Mi-8. Will struggle to do that though. Gets shut down. At least some small victories here for Nocturna. And there comes the HE cluster. Not really hitting anything. Spreading out, stunning down the BMP2, but not getting the kill there. The Dejant RPG 7 units here with the sniper rifle holding nicely against the Motostrelki. But at the same time, good push here by Nocturna in the south with the Mi-8 fire support. Not enough AAE there around, but the MiG-23 MLD number 2 comes around. Koops and Tunguskas will try their best there, trying to get a kill. Koops not getting another missile out though, so the MiG-23 will survive. Akacia coming up, and yeah, slow setup here for Nocturna still. Needs to break through now badly on the map.
Yeah, the Motostrelki fighting against the Descent, the Gesturmowaya RPG-7s in the middle here. These the Motostrelki have a single support weapon, a 1 RPK-74. The Dish RPG-7s also have a sniper rifle, giving them a very significant advantage in these infantry fights. They also have like the Afghansi out there, which are just superior close-range units in any ways. But Nocturna, not having the fire support actually participate there, now putting up the RPG, the BMP a little bit too close to the enemy, with the Fagot getting a big hit there.
Yeah, G cluster also now coming in for the coup here in the rear line, and Grazia getting some counterfire in here, and the BMPs helping out, but the TADBVs are the ones that actually would want to be in the front line. We have 3 of them by now. HE cluster not getting the kill against the coup yet. Another one coming in. That one might be good. No, misses slightly as well. So yeah, HE cluster, as you can see, not as good as its AP predecessor by a lot. It's a lot weaker, but
really good suppression though.
Yeah, really good suppression, and we have the T62 MD coming in from north. Might have to go down a bit in price though. 230 points. That's quite a lot. But the second one coming along here, the BMP2s all pretty low. It might hit around there now, and it might actually get those. No, it is going for the TADBV on the other side. Gets that one stressed out and slightly damaged. But yeah, the suppression is good. The damage is mediocre. And the situation here is developing nicely for the 56 VDV here, as they just buy time. And time is great when you're on a +2, 1000 points up. We are over the halfway point, 19 minutes remaining here. And that means Nocturna will need to get the breakthrough within the next 10 minutes and really make it a big breakthrough. Has a lot of mortars coming in to try to smoke off the long-range ATGM positions, most likely, to allow the T62s to get in, T5080s to get in gun range and block the T62s from the missile ranges. But we'll see if that can be successful. I'm surprised we don't see that much recon in form of BRM1s with these pushes, as BRM1s would go a long way allowing these TADBs to actually hit the enemy.
Yeah, that's especially with the ISD-29 being the top speed pack tank, having the recon be right there behind it in the front line, very crucial because it can give even more power to the micro ability. And now Fagot's firing and Bastion's firing from different directions against these BMP2s that are trying to support another wave of Saperi RPOs getting into the Citadel here. And so far, these delays with and lack of actual results here for 79th have just given Ghostdragon the ability to buy everything. And the methodical artillery targeting of recon units and ATGM positions has been getting some results, so it's not like Nocturna is toothless here, but even then, the gigantic map level concave where Nocturna is trying to strike right at the middle of it, this is just not the place. Not under +2. If this was equal points, the game would be in one thing or another. But Nocturna is going to be pushed into more and more risky, more and more overextensions, risky attacks, and that's just the nature of the game here. I think there was some miscalculations done by Nocturna in the first attack that they did. They could have maybe taken just a slightly conservative position there and prepare the attack for like 2 or 3 minutes, and then under a single smoke mortar and maybe like an extra infantry recon unit pushing, the stuff could have gone differently. But I've been talking about the like amazing positioning here for Ghostdragon all game, but it really is so much. Like you can always cry about 56th being overpowered, and by God, I will keep doing that. But like this, let's not like the tools are getting used so amazingly here. Like if somebody could replicate this, doing it with another division, nobody would even be thinking about the free veterancy that you get on T62s.
Yeah, smoke mortars set up here for Nocturna now. Nocturna needs this to work. Good smoke play here with the 120mm mortars could really do a lot of work, but the cluster mortars here, yes, they don't deal that much damage, especially not against vehicles, but as you pointed out, the stress, the pure annoyance the whole game is doing its job already. BMP2's coming in with 7 in a pack here. Nocturna has the strategic reserve now completely invested into this attack, and this now has to work. The smoke mortars should set up this play soon, and then the TADBVs will have to move as well, and this needs to go through. 15 minutes remaining. +2 will end the game in 6 minutes 39, so Nocturna is in need of some action here. And that 7 stack of BMP2s together with the TADBVs is the one that has to do it. But the TADBVs already getting a bit annoyed here. One of them even getting routed by these HE cluster mortars. Like, yes, they still didn't deal any damage, but they did the suppression. And that's just really, really annoying here. Slowing down and reducing the combat efficiency of these 2-vet tanks. At least they are 2-vet, so that means the recovery rate is okay. But yeah, still annoying. Smoke coming up now. All the 120mm mortars will set up smoke fields. The Acacias maybe should hit some preliminary targets as well. And then this push has to go and has to go places.
Yeah, some amazing planning happening here with the smoke mortar queuing. A lot of thinking put there. But yeah, this is the desperation attack. This is the mythical attack where Russia finally shows its strength. You know, the one that they've been waiting on years now. Now the cluster planes are actually coming in here, so this is gonna be a combined arms attack, not just a blind blob.
Yeah, but it lacks optics still. It has only one Spetsnaz GIU and one BMP2 Rajvetka. No BRM1s here with this whole push.
So
the HE bombers doing really good job. The cluster bomber did it strike fine as well. But is this enough? It's hard to say, but it's somewhat questionable that this will just achieve the whole breakthrough. Like, I'm somewhat optimistic that it will reach Boris. The question is, can it spiral into something deeper towards Paul? Because that's what is necessary here now for Nocturna. And I'm questioning that much success here, as there are still so many BMP2s and T62s on the battlefield. BRDM Conquerors missing the T62 in the north. TADBV IZD getting shot by so many missiles there. And yeah, the BMP2s have unloaded. AT MiG-27s coming around on the other side again. Motostrelkis pushing forward. HE clusters not shooting just yet. Will retarget the position on the front line. Smoke does keep up popping up everywhere. BMP2
Smoke doing damage to the BMPs.
And there we go. Motostrelki pushing forward. BMP2s sitting around there in the forest. Stejaniki will get overwhelmed. There are T-62s everywhere though. And there are decent amount of BMP2s on the whole battlefield as well. Modrachvetka will get spotted there in a second, but it lacks the recon, it lacks the T-80 BVs following this all up. And that's a big issue. Motostrelki is there, able to engage the BMP2s now. First one goes down. T-62 is behind all of this as well, can freely engage right now as well, because the T-80 BVs that can shoot them and can kill them, they are not in the spots. It's only the BMP2s. You need the T-80 BVs in front of this. Where are they? Smoke play here easily stops all of this, and BMP2's numbers start to get reduced. T-80s finally coming around, get a good hit there with the first one. The one on north still getting hit though. Smoke should have cut off this north from helping out in this fight, not be so much on top of Nocturna's units than around it, because Nocturna blinds themselves more right now than they blind the enemy, and that is a massive issue.
Yeah, this the attack just had some weird pacing there with the tanks not participating in this. The tank should be out there. The tank should be there when the enemy ATGMs open fire, because then the tanks can destroy that ATGM before the missile hits. The BMP2s cannot do that reliably, and also are very much at risk of losing themselves. The T-80s can at least tank some shots, and yeah, so far the very difficult to attack these positions out of Nocturna. So the way that Nocturna has managed to do this is still impressive, considering that they are succeeding. But yeah, there are so many tools. The Mi-24V rocket here firing its heavy rockets and having the Kokon missiles attacking the BMP2s. The fact that there is most certainly still more AT planes here. So even if, as you said, even if this attack on Boris would have succeeded, even if the whole zone would have been cleared, any further attacks that would have had to cross these zones would have been just like target-rich environments for the Mi-24 and MiG-27K micro. Of course, while all the Bastion missiles and the Fagots and the Conquerors are still around.
Yeah, the push just not working here. Mi-24V and P variants coming forward, but the Spetsnaz and the Strelas are still there in too many numbers. The T-80 BVs were never in front of the BMP2s, and yeah, it's risky, but you have to risk them in these kind of moments. And as I said, I think the smoke play, it was decent, but one smoke on top of the units would have been enough. The other three should have really continued smoking the circle around them, stopping the T-62s from ever firing their missiles on max range. And that's not what happened, and that's where you just don't have a shot here. Like, it was already a desperate play from behind, and you needed to perfectly hit the spots, and that's not what happened. It was not perfect by any means, and now we only have 40 seconds here left until the +2 will get the W, and there is no CV really closing in on the zone here. And with that, the first game here will go to Ghostdragon. Really great show of our player in red, and yeah, showing that 56 is still an absolute top tier division, and if you play it flexible, you still can beat the heavy tonk divisions like the 79th on a map like Vertigo.
Yeah, just know your strengths. I mean, people playing 56th on ranked because it really is such a breeze. I remember before everybody realized that 56 was overpowered, and then it became really gauche to play it on ranked, so I stopped. But I used to love doing it because it gave you so much initiative. It has it is an amazing tempo division, because you can even with the T-62s not being the best tanks, they can still function and like impose fire control in the same way that the heavier tanks do, because of the Bastion missiles. And so you get so many options that realistically can actually fix your issues. And like you have your 12-man squads for your town assaults. You have your Afghansi, of course, out there for the same purpose. You have so many cheap and expensive anti-tank unit choices, and when you put that all behind a force of supposed light infantry, so you get a bunch of recon units and a bunch of helicopters out there, it can feel very, very overwhelming. But I do think that if this 56 was played kind of standard here, if the speed advantage and the initiative had not been used there, I think Nocturna absolutely had the chance of beating this. But really, the initiative was the thing that mattered there.
Yeah, the job well done here by Ghostdragon. Nocturna struggling to get through. And yeah, first map loss for Nocturna in this tournament. Ghostdragon showing why they are here in the quarterfinal with perfect play and really showing their combined arms prowess that they bring from Steel Division. And it's going to be a tough one for Nocturna in game number 2 here. Though Vivian maybe not getting baited into as much of a Hail Mary push. They maybe can find a better opener, maybe can find a bit better position and then play it from there. And yeah, quick break, guys. Then we're going to be back with map number 2 between Nocturna and Ghostdragon and see if Ghostdragon can move on to the semifinal or if Nocturna can bring it back here. Black Forest it is for the next map. As Ghostdragon and Nocturna face each other once more here. And guys, if you want to see more WARNO League in your life, and if you want to have more people joining us here, consider leaving us a like on YouTube, following, subscribing, and yeah, just helping out the algorithm. And if you want to help out myself getting the time and the resources to organizing these events, getting better equipment and so on, consider leaving a subscription on Twitch or a channel membership on YouTube. Those go a long way helping me out funding future equipment improvements, software improvements, and so on to get all of this better and better. And yeah, thanks for all the support, guys. And thanks for all of you coming here over time. If you haven't followed over at Chloride's channel, obviously go and do that right now as well. The link is in the chat for Chloride's Twitch channel. And with that said, let's get us in here into game number 2, as VDV is back on the menu for Ghostdragon, though this time with the OG, with the 35th, whilst Nocturna is going for one of the meta divisions as well. That got slightly nerfed though. The 5th Plinde back on the left side.
Yeah, specifically a meta division that kinda hard counters 35th. So for the beginners in chat here, 35th VDV, despite its name and branding, completely different than 56 that we just saw. Doesn't have the tanks, doesn't have the good IFVs, only have the light air-droppable BMD2s. Still plays with a lot of good infantry, has the even better special forces, the Spetsnaz units, but doesn't have the extra anti-air that comes with the Spetsnaz crew stingers. So a way more standard airborne deployment here, and in this, but still the kind of core idea is pretty similar. You go out there and you take some ground, and then you hold it by sending in MiG-27 AT planes and helicopters, and trying to make sure that every long-range engagement that the enemy would try to push you through is going to be like covered in a concave of different sorts of missiles. And with the numbers you get with 35th and with the tempo advantage, especially if you play your opener right, that's pretty realistic. Now, why is 5th French the hard counter? The answer, the AMX-30 B2, and also the fact that just standard French infantry is powerful enough to tussle with the VDV guys. And with the opener, one of the most powerful opener units in the game, par none, is the AMX-10 RC. The ability for the AMX-10s to just secure early ground and take out lightly armored and unarmored unit, even while they're still on transport, cannot be the freezing effect that can happen here, paralyzing effect cannot be underestimated in the right conditions. And I think the idea here for Nocturna is that Nocturna is going to play mech blob, early mech blob with the autocannon equipped veteran tanks, with 2 already buying the logistics there, as well as 2 AA pieces knowing what's to come. And basically all of this is almost all of the points are centering in a very like single engagement in the middle. This is not about taking map control for Nocturna. Nocturna is going in for the kill, loading himself up with like HE damage and just wanting to start killing the VDV right at the start.
Yeah, we have a decently nice spread out network of ATGMs coming around here. BRDM and Dejan Conquerors moving around, and the BMD2s getting up in the rear here. But the question is, will the ATGMs have the area to actually hit something here? And I'm surprised we didn't see a helicopter opener, because if there's one thing that AMX-10 RCs are bad at, it's shooting down helicopter, because they don't have a 50 cal or an autocannon. But that wasn't coming around. Instead, it's Conquerors, AMX-10 RC, having to smoke off there, but absolutely able to dodge that. Whilst OP Spetsnaz come around here to try to stop the Eclairs 50-50 cal Jeep to go too far. Now on a defensive position there, the Eclairs likely going to lose that fight against the OP Spetsnaz with the AKSUs, as the Eclairs are completely stunned down already. But MX-10s start to take the first Conquerors out. BRDM goes down as well. And yeah, no guns. No heavy guns on the side of 35th. So as long as you play around with the smoke, you can dodge ATGMs for days. But they can't dodge your tank shells. Once your tank shell flies, it either hits or it doesn't. There is no way of smoking that off when it flies. MX-10RC overextending a bit there. But with good smoke play, the MX-30s can just continue pushing through this. And that's the issue of the 35th. You want to have the enemy be spread out. You want to have them get flanked by your ATGMs, having maybe to spread out their attention as well so that the ATGMs have a bit of a better time, because there is nearly no division out there that does ATGM spam better than 35th. But that's not what Nocturna is going to for, and the BMD2s here already struggling. MX-30s pushing in, and this might get troublesome quite quickly for Ghostdragon here.
Yeah, the Nocturna's tank blob here getting excellent results against the BMD2, single-shotting those things, and now having the whole sideline here to just use their autocannons to remove these Desant Niggy squads. The Grenadier Voltigeurs F1s with the sniper rifles do pretty nice damage in just standard infantry fights, and also them being French, they have 750-meter 80 weapons, but the LGB bomb now dropping in and getting 2 of the AMX-30B2s. Crucial damage here. Just it does not stop the momentum for the French. The VABs and the VLRA 50s can also provide a lot of fire support here with the 50 cals, but not having those extra AMX-30s does put a limit here. Now, Ghostdragon has actually flown into their opponent's base with a MI2. I have not seen that before ever. I'm not sure how good it is, but it is a tactic. And meanwhile, reinforcements have to be waited on by the French to actually keep this going. And but though looking at the reinforcements of Ghostdragon, it's not really that imposing. There are 2 AMX-30s coming in and trying to push the southern flank open. Only a single BRDM Conquerors to be to stop them will most likely fail. And even if you increase the amount of infantry and the amount of Spetsnaz in the middle fight here, as long as you don't have a permanent solution for the AMX-30s, this is not going to work out. A permanent solution here would be maybe fortifying this area north of the middle where the Spetsnaz crew are, fortifying that with ATGMs to give your forces kind of a sideline cover where the enemy attack would always stop, theoretically, and play time like this. But right now the Surblinders are even taking out like reinforcing forces. They've completely been flanked.
Yeah, OP Spetsnaz trying to go for some sneaky kills in the town, but the AMX-10 is the perfect counter here, because all the HGMs are relying on stealth, and the AMX-10 RC has very good optics, so it sees them as soon as they fire, and it can shoot them and one-shot kill them before the ATGM can reach the AMX-10, even before the AMX-10 has to smoke off. So the AMX-10 really is the perfect counter here, and that's a big issue for Ghostdragon. That's why I say I don't quite understand why they haven't played around with helicopters, because I feel like helicopters are a bit of a weakness of the French. It's not a big one. They still have the Rolands, which are decently there, but the opener can be pushed back with that, and they have to react to it, and their tanks are somewhat vulnerable to air ATGMs because they have pretty low armor. But playing 35th without helicopters here, I think, is kind of suicidal. That's what the MI2 would help out with as well, as it is especially seeing the air sport. So you know when the enemy will bring in planes. You could micro your helicopters against that, but it's completely helicopter-less opener here, and that's just not going to win the ground fight here for you. The MX-30 is just going to bully anything you put on the ground.
Yeah, the MiG-27 diving in now, not getting a spot on, but with the Mi-2 getting close here, but the Mistral is going to take out the Mi-2. Yeah, I think it is a little bit of a mystery, the lack of helicopters here, but I think the meta has gotten to a point where people expect Mistrals and anti-helicopter attacks because they always play with the recon helicopters, and everybody thinks that everybody else is going to assume that they're also going to play with recon helicopters and open with some Mistral. Second of all, I think there's kind of this mental thing where you don't want to buy your better helicopters, your gunships, before you also have a fighter on board, especially not when you know that the Mirage F1C of the French is faster than your planes. and does have double guns, so they can strafe helicopters pretty effectively.
Yeah, but as I said, you have to kind of use that combined arms advantage that you got, and attack helicopters is one of those advantages. And if you already don't have tanks, you have to at least use that part. As I said, they are pretty efficient against the AMX-30s because they have such low frontal armor, so Cons would hit them pretty hard and two-shot them. But yeah, nothing like that here on the battlefield. The Vickers of the KA-50 even would one-shot them. But none of these are deployed on the battlefield. And that's a massive, massive issue here. KA-50 is obviously maybe a bit overkill, but 24 normal ones with the Kokon missiles here would have really helped out in the opener, both against the MX-10s and against the MX-30s here.
Yeah, a very bad engagement happening here in the south flank, with all of the tanks opening fire on long range against the BMD-2s and their infantry transport. Just a complete disintegration of the reinforcements here.
Oh,
and
no.
MiG-27
missing all shots there, getting shut down. The Mirage coming in time. MiG-29 out of position. It's all going downhill in game number 2, and yeah, this game is moving rapidly towards the game number 3 right now, as Ghostdragon might not even be able to hold on to their rear zone now if the forces of Nocturna would start to push here. BMD-2 once more getting overwhelmed because it gets spotted before the HGM can hit. MiG-27 LGB coming around here. Maybe gets a double kill again if it hits quite nicely. Yes, it does. But it gets shut down in return, so only an equal trade there. And Ghostdragon needs a lot of positive trades at this point if they want to move anywhere, and this is not the one there. Their combined arms gets attritioned away, and yeah, it's really surprising to see Pact's best helicopter division not using a single helicopter throughout this game.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be like some kind of a like muscle memory thing, basically, of getting used to playing them in certain locations, or mentally holding the gunships for a certain task. Just has not appeared yet, and probably is not gonna. Definitely Conqueror's getting a nice hit in the AMX-30B2 in the positions that I kind of recommended them to go to, and naturally getting a kill because of course I know the best. But with the Conqueror's missiles getting with no supply and the Conqueror's missiles having run out, there's not really anything to actually stop. The kill was nice, but yeah.
Yeah, good kill here. And good game number 2 here from Nocturna. Gets the return in this match, and with that gets 2 OKD and gets again number 3. Decided game will come up. Fantastic 5th lane day game, with like just really, really basic 5th lane day game, countering the enemy lack of guns so hard, and not allowing the 35th to really get the ATGM wall, where every spot is like completely set up between 3 different field of views of ATGMs that come in from every direction, so that you can't really smoke them off and so on. Like, that's what 35th's late game wants to be. But yeah, not having the stopgap of the helicopter that the enemy has to consider how to tackle, and only having BMD-2s that the enemy can just head bump into, was the mistake here, I think, by Ghostdragon. I'm not saying helicopters would have won the game, but I think they could have prolonged the game to a better spot for Ghostdragon, and they were absent here. And with that 5th lane day showing that it's still a powerhouse, showing why it's such a cost-efficient armored deck, and the MX-10 RCs are just absolutely goated in a matchup like this. Well played, and yeah, Ghostdragon will have to bring it back in the final game here, which we're gonna get into after a short break. here we go to the decider game and the final map of the day with Nocturna and Ghostdragon on 2 lakes. But before we jump in, a quick shout out once more to the Matcherino page, guys, where you can help out crowdfunding the whole event. And there are even now a couple new sponsor quests coming up on the right side, where if you just like or follow some accounts on Twitter for a bit, you add some free money to the prize pool as well. Obviously, that's all up to you. And there is also a Metal Storm, one that is only region locked to the US though. Metal Storm being kind of like a War Thunder kind of aircraft game for the modern day. So if you're interested in that, I'm not quite sure what the Storm is. I think it's signing up for the playtest. So if you do that, and I mean, if you're in the US and you're interested in WARNO, high chances are you are interested into a F-15 flight sim or like arcade flight sim kind of game as well. So check that out over at Matcherino. And also, for all of you who want to play a bit of WARNO after this cast, we're gonna play on the, or I gonna play the World in Flames 10v10 server, the modern day WARNO mod with that's now has a 10v10 server, the first modded 10v10 server after this. So if you want to join, get the mod now, and see you all after this game. And with that said, let's get ready for 79th versus 119th Tankovi here, as that's what we got here for Nocturna. And that's a heavy division in the late game, but it can be a surprisingly fast division in the opener.
Yeah, that's a spicy meatball with the Spetsnaz getting out here and completely surpassing infantry-wise anything that 79th could bring. Having the Spetsnaz out there is basically like an instant do not contest ruling by a court or something. Do not contest Emma, do not contest Olga. Stay away, keep at least 500-meter minimum distance at all times. And that's something that 79th can actually play around. Once again, with the Rasvedka BMP2, though this time shamefully not brought at Veterancy 1 instead on 2. Or Veterancy 1 is Nocturna's Rasvedka BMP2, which means Nocturna, I'm calling it now, gonna win this game. There's gonna be the fire support tanks combined with the T80U coming in here, same combination as in the first game, but this time with a slightly heavier tank. And they will be able to impose fire control, basically, both high explosive with the TO55s and armored penetration with the reflex missile of the T80U. So North is basically gonna be, I think, a feeding ground for the T80s to kill those very expensive Rasvedka BMP2s. And in South, we're gonna see an attempt of doing a mechanized attack with a bunch of recon, including a BRM and a recon helicopter, trying to get perfect information out there. And then what looks like a pretty weak force of one infantry going and taking a defensive formation, and the tank just going and stationing itself in the middle without any supporting units that could actually attack. Now, I don't really. I mean, if you're going to play this passively on both towns, I guess you're going to play it passively. But I don't get the point of why do you not send the T80BV up north, where it's way more likely that it's going to be fighting against other vehicles.
I think it's going there so that it can flank north. Like, get a counterattack against any push trying to come around Emma. Because it's the IZT. It can get across the field quite quickly. It can swing south, it can swing north. And yeah, the 79th doesn't have the fort deployment. The 119th has the Spetsnaz, so expecting not to get the southern town is a decent one. The push in the north of the Spetsnaz is pretty scary. Spetsnaz GRU off the force deployment unit that you get, it's not a great combat unit. Going north here is a bit of an interesting one. Not going into the town with any of those to maybe try to block the Spetsnaz from getting in. Yeah, a bit of a weird choice. And once more, I feel like a MI-24 to try to catch some of these Spetsnaz off guard could have been quite nice. No forward deploy AA on the side of 119th, but no Mi-24 coming in here. Instead, only a Me-2 Recon that doesn't have any armament. So, yep, the Modrachvetka, BMP2s, and then highly vetted up BMP2Ds. So that's where the veterancy went here. 2 vet BMP2Ds coming in, but the issue is the Spetsnaz is going to make it into the town first. And the OP Spetsnaz is making it to the north as well. Yeah, just miscalculation over miscalculation here.
Yeah, but now that they're all spotted, there could be aircraft. Su-25 or Su-24 could actually be diving in here and trying to get the kill right now. But even that doesn't seem to be happening, which is also a pretty decent play. You don't want to be building air against the division with Su-27s. But so far we're seeing Ghost just play as defensively as possible, and the defense here, the problem is that when you're trying to play defensively against something like 119th, is that you can't scale into the late game. The enemy is going to get the points advantage, so you're going to have to win this in the mid game. And in the mid game, specifically trading well with your units and getting a nice number of forces, especially tanks, that can snowball very easily for 79th, and 119th can.
What?
Something like that can happen.
Side shot there against the TADU as it turned against the other BMP2, not seeing the northern one. BRM1K not in position. The BMP2D off. Ghostdragon there in a bit of a tough spot as well, though. Should smoke off maybe as well. And Spetsnaz GRU coming around. It keeps on fighting there. TO-55s will kill off the Spetsnaz GRU eventually. But Rachetka BMP2 goes down for Nocturna. And the forces here of Ghostdragon slowly pushing through the middle. TADBV now pivoting north. Could maybe try to hunt down the TADU. TO-55 there, getting out of the smoke, getting stunned down, getting killed off. Okay, Nocturna losing surprisingly many support units there. Spetsnaz and Modrachvetka are in the town, though. It's a very RPO. Have to be careful where they unload there. Unloading in the defensive spot now, but TO-55 and the Modrachvetka pushing through there. And yeah, that's the issue. The town is fully in hand of Nocturna. Even with the kills on the outer edge, this is a problem. Mi-24 now coming up, but there is a Tunguska already. And the TADBV flanking doesn't really do anything. It's actually even falling back further. I feel like if flanking attack trying to find the Tunguska, that could have been big. If the Tunguska would have gotten killed, Mi-24 would have got full reign over the whole battlefield. But instead, it's defensive play here, and I'm not sure if Ghostdragon is allowed defensive play. As you said, the late game is 119th. They need to win the mid game, and currently the mid game setup is not really where they want it to be.
Yeah, the Mi-24V is a very nice choice here, and it's doing a lot of important damage on the Spetsnaz here. But the tempo loss of just moving that T-80 ISD-29 into behind the town, like, no, you had a BRM. You had literally a BRM right there. You could just go out there and you could secure the reinforcement line. You could force the enemy to unload their troops and to micro their stuff. Such a huge loss there, or tactically. And kind of betraying what won Ghostdragon the first game, which was the amazing flanking and aggro positioning. Even the Motor Raspetka in the middle here has slowly pushed with its Raspetka BMP2 comrade and driving off one of the OP Spetsnaz here. And right now, Ghostdragon is actually getting into the southern town, which they figured out was undefended or lightly defended, when they finally got the recon information of how much stuff there was for Nocturna up north here. And now with the attack is happening, the T-80U has just been repaired. Now there are 2 of them right there. If an overextension happens on the other way, this could maybe be it. The Kokon missiles could do a lot of work here. There's only a single Tunguska and the fighter is unlikely to take an immediate dive in because of the coup, but if the Mi-24 becomes a threat, of course the Su-27 will likely risk itself.
Yeah, rockets here flying against the Rapira. Not quite enough left in it, though, to get the kill. BMP2 here shooting against the TADBV in the middle, only getting a frontal hit though. SU27 does dive. Coop and Strella trying to attack. Ooh, SU24 cluster coming in for trying to get a kill, but it immediately gets pushed back and it might get killed off here. It does get killed off. Oh, worst timing ever. Award going to that SU24 call-in timing there from Ghostdragon. SU27 killing both the MI24 and the SU24 and getting out alive. Oh, an absolute disaster. 0 vet Coop there, not able to get the kill. And that means that the Hades can now push forward. They don't have to worry about those 2 units anymore. And there's only one TADBV IZD on the other side. The BMP2 on the south is out of ammo. SU24 even coming in to get the kill there. Coop doesn't get resupplied right now. And yeah, that means the north is still struggling pretty hard for Ghostdragon. BMP2, at least. Oh no, it does miss on this short range against the TO55. It only can use its main gun right now, which doesn't really deal a lot of damage against the TO55. And yeah, has to disengage there as it is. Oh no, it still has a Conquerors left. It could take that fight. I'm not sure why it's disengaging, but more BMP2s come up to help out. So that part of the map is still going okay, but the north, the SU-24 getting shut down is a disaster. That was supposed to kill, or at least like heavily damage one of these T-80s. And now they are free to roam and have so little opposition, and that's where they can start to just grind through your stuff and get more and more kills and really start to tilt the cost efficiency one direction as they kill unit after unit here right now. Plymia 30mm, PRDM2, Conquerors, BMP2.